This show was first broadcast on Free FM 89.0, Hamilton, New Zealand's community access radio station. For more information on our station and our wide range of programs, visit freefm.org.nz.
The music that they're planning to use to crumble the morals of America is this rotten, filthy, dirty, lewd, lascivious junk called rock and roll.
An hour of 60s underground music from around the world. Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Radio. Great 60s Garage Punk, freakbeat and psychedelia. Podcast via all good podcasting providers and facebook.com/Retrospect Garage Punk Radio.
It is time to listen. That is why I am here today.
Hi Retrospect fans, thank you for joining me for another episode of Retrospect 60s Garage Punk radio show and podcast produced at Free FM Hamilton, New Zealand, distributed across the world, and I truly appreciate you joining me for this episode 562, and this one I'm calling a trans-global tear-up. It is entirely global garage in this episode. We've got it underway with a band out of the former Yugoslavia called Bijali Strijali, or Bijali Strijali. Yugoslav band formed in Zagreb 1961, pioneer of the Yugoslav rock scene. Their debut EP 1963, the first record released by a Yugoslav rock band, including covers of Cliff Richard and the Shadows and the Beatles. They formed 1961, a bunch of young men who were on a work scheme building flood banks of the Sava River. By 1966, they had disbanded. So from their debut EP, instrumental track Striei, or Arrows, getting this episode off to a fine start. Hi, I'm Phil Gray, host of Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show. It's a labour of love, and if you dig what I do, why not buy me a beer? Or just a coffee? You can do that now via buymeacoffee.com/Mr. Phil Gray. That's buymeacoffee.com/MrPhilGrey, Mr. Phil Gray. I may not be able to have a beer or coffee in person, but we can do it virtually. On with the show. Well, it is all Global Garage for this set. Latina selection, starting off with Los No out of Spain, off a 7-inch EP released in 1966, released on a label called Vergara. This is Los No, and this is Gloria.
Porque has cambiado, niña. Hoy distinta eres tú. Y tu extraña locura me vuelve loco a mí. El mal que a mí me has hecho lo hiciste a los demás. Mas a pesar de todo, sí, te sigo queriendo igual. Vuelve otra vez a ser vuelve otra vez a ser la que antes fuiste tú. Vuelve otra vez a ser la que antes fuiste tú. Yeah, 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 yeah. Porque has cambiado, niña. Hoy distinta eres tú. Y tu extraña locura me vuelve loco a mí. El mal que a mí me has hecho lo hiciste a los demás. Mas a pesar de todo, sí, te sigo queriendo igual. Vuelve otra vez a ser, vuelve otra vez a ser la que antes fuiste tú. Vuelve otra vez a ser la que antes fuiste tú. Yeah, 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 yeah. Solo tú. Sí, sí. Solo tú. Oh, sí.
Now it's even easier to get your weekly dose of 60s garage rock, garage punk, freakbeat and psychedelia. Simply ask your Spotify-enabled device to play you Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show.
Baby, do you understand me now? Sometimes I feel a little mad, but don't you know that no one alive can always be an angel when things go wrong and seem to be bad? I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Sometimes I'm so carefree with the joy that I had to have. Sometimes it seems that all I do is worry when things go Mary, Mary, yo soy tuyo. Mary, Mary, yo soy tuyo. Quiero siempre recordar y no me olvides nunca más. Mary, Mary, yo soy tuyo. Mary, Mary, no me dejes, porque yo quiero ir contigo. Siempre quise ser tu amigo, tú nunca fuiste fiel conmigo. Mary, Mary, no me dejes. Algo quise ser por ti, pero nunca fuiste así. Siento ahora que sufrirás por mí. Mary, Mary, no me dejes, pues yo quiero me recuerdes. Aunque ahora yo sé que si te miro seguiré. Mary, Mary, yo te quiero. Oh, Mary, 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 Mary. Oh, oh, Mary, Mary. Oh, Mary, Mary. Ah! Mary, Mary, love you. Oh, Mary. Ah! Oh.
It's Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show, our trans-global tear-up. It is entirely global garage for this episode. We had Los No with Gloria out of Spain. Then from Chile, Los Max. Pioneering Chilean band formed in Valparaiso in 1962. By 1965, they had signed with RCA, who supported the recording of a 1966 album called Go Go 22, which had covers of Beatles, Stones, Kinks, Shadows, and Dylan songs on it. We had a cover of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Then thirdly, Los Yetis, vocal trio forming in 1965, recording for Discos Fuentes. The debut LP released June 1966, re-released much more recently from Colombia, Los Yetis with Mary Mary.
And shall bring America down the way of other nations come. We refuse to know to do right. We refuse to do right.
Retrospect, 60s garage punk, garage rock and psychedelia. Let's go over to the European continent, starting off with a band called The Girls. Out of Athens, a very young band, average age 16 years old, just one release. Hello Beethoven, the A-side. This is the B-side from 1966, The Girls, with Rocket for Girls.
This is Kate Canavan calling Rocket for Girls. Do you hear me, Rocket for Girls? This is Kate Canavan calling. Over.
All the planet in our pocket, hey.
Hi Phil, my name is Peter Klubeck. I'm an Austrian living in Luxembourg, and you're listening to Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show and psychedelia from all over the world.
Cerco il farletto della città, è un mondo senza scrupoli, la gente ormai lo sa, figlio di un banchiere, ha tutto a sua porta, lui controlla con autorità l'alta società. Ed io che scoppo giù in fabbrica, io conduco vitagramma ed imprecco la povertà, maledico la povertà, vorrei essere come lui, vorrei fare come lui, lui c'è il colore. Dovunque e mi vada, ne parlano giornale, Wicciaconi e all'opera, Wicciaconi è un festival, e si parla dei suoi parti, dalle orge sul suo yacht, non c'è niente che non possa, quel che vuole tutto ha. Ed io che scoppo giù in fabbrica, io conduco vitagramma ed imprecco la povertà, maledico la povertà, vorrei essere come lui, vorrei fare come lui, Richard Cole. Se non le offerte prodigo non è per carità, lo faccio tanto per pubblicità, lo ringraziano perché elargisce i patronati, ma che leggo sui giornali, lui c'è ancora, sì proprio lui, si è sparato e non c'è più. Ed io che scoppo giù in fabbrica, io conduco vitagramma ed imprecco la povertà, maledico la povertà, vorrei essere come lui, vorrei fare come lui, Richard Corey.
Turn them off! Off!
Retrospect.
Domani un mondo nuovo nascerà, potrai sederti accanto a me, senza badare a tutti quelli che vogliono ognuno uguale a sé. Domani l'alba ci porterà parole, pensieri più liberi, e dopo aver guardato in fondo a sé, la gente sorriderà più dolcemente, tu vivrai, creatura libera sarai con me. Se tutto questo lo vuoi anche tu, come capisco guardandoti, Mijn moeder heeft verteld wat de nette jongen doet en wat de nette jongen laat. Maar als ik naar jou kijk, voel ik dat het dan met mij de verkeerde kant op gaat. SOS, daar komt het weer. SOS, ik voel het weer. SOS, ik heb langs mijn rug. SOS, omhoog en dan weer terug. Het is een kriebelig gevoel en er is niks meer te doen. SOS, 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 SOS. Ik heb alles geprobeerd, van een buisje aspirine tot aan een ijskoud bad. Maar ik lust geen aspirine en in dat ijzig koude bad heb ik een mooie kou gevat. SOS, daar komt het weer. SOS, ik voel het weer. SOS, ik heb langs mijn rug. SOS, omhoog en dan weer terug. Het is een kriebelig gevoel en er is niks meer te doen. SOS, 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 SOS,
That's 4 selections from the European continent on this TRANSGLOBAL TEARUP episode of Retrospect. We started off with the Girls' Rocket for Girls B-side of a 1966 45 on a label called Music Box. They're out of Greece. Then over to Italy for the Nightbirds, B-side of a 1967 Columbia Records 45. Cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Richard Corey. This band formed in 1964. They covered a lot of British bands, Beatles, Yardbirds, Kinks, Stones, Pretty Things, The Who, Spencer Davis Group. They turned professional and toured Switzerland, Italy, France and Germany. Recorded 4 singles in Italian with EMI in Milan for the Italian and Swiss markets. So the Nightbirds, Richard Corey out of Italy. Also from Italy, I Messaggeri. From a label called Bluebell Record, a 7-inch 45 released in Italy from I Messaggeri, Più dolcemente tu vivrai. Then finally in the set, a band called Het, formed by ex-ZZ and Der Maskers singer Bob Buber. They're out of Amsterdam. Het released 4 singles, half of them in Dutch, half in English, throughout 1966 and 1967, very much in the vein of Nederbeat bands. Het with a track called SOS.
Dig what you hear?
Yeah!
Check out back episodes of Retrospect, 60s Garage Punk radio show and podcast. Always available across all good podcasting providers, including Apple Podcasts, TuneIn.com, Stitcher Radio, Blueberry, Player.fm, MyTuner Radio, Mixcloud, Castbox, Podbean, Pod Directory, and many more.
Well, our TRANSGLOBAL TEARUP episode continues with a selection of Asian garage tracks, starting off with Japan, a band called The Savage. This one's off a very cool compilation called Slitherama, Psychedelic Tokyo 1966 to 1969 on a label called Planet X. The Savage with a cover of the Spencer Davis Group's Gimme Some Lovin'.
The floor, where the people knocking cause they want the some more. Red meat, baby, I don't know what you got, but you better take it easy, this place is hot now. So glad they made it, so glad they made it. I want you, give me some lovin', give me some lovin', give me some lovin' every day. Alright. Too much has happened cause you were
It's okay, but you know, it's not as good.
Retrospect, 60s garage punk, garage rock and psychedelia.
ไม่รักและดีเขาจะได้มีแฟนใหม่ไม่รักไม่สนคนดื้อดึงทำวางปั่นปึงจนเกินไปจะหาเอาใหม่สัก2-3 โลผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงยั่วเยียจะง้อยเปลี่ยทำไมโง่ไม่รักไม่ง้อขออยู่เดียวมันคงไม่เปลี่ยวจนเซโซจะเล่นไฮโลปลอบใจไฮโลเขย่าแรงๆมันยังมีวันแทงถูกถึงเป็นกระดูกเต้นได้หัวใจของแม่สาวน้อยใบละ100ไม่รู้กี่ใบแทงเท่าไรไม่ถูกสักทีไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักช่างหัวคงถือว่าตัวงามนักนี้ไม่ต้องมายิ้มทำยั่วยวนหัวใจไม่ปวดหรอกคนดีก็ด้วยของฟรีเขามีเป็นตันไม่รักและดีเขาจะได้มีแฟนใหม่ไม่รักไม่สนคนดื้อดึงทำวางปั่นปึงจนเกินไปจะเอาใหม่สัก2-3 โลผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงเยอะแยะผู้หญิงยั่วเยียจะง้อยเปลี่ยทำไมโง่ไม่รักไม่ง้อขออยู่เดียวมันคงไม่เปลี่ยวจนเซโซจะเล่นไฮโลปลอบใจไฮโลเขย่าแรงๆมันยังมีวันแทงถูกถึงเป็นกระดูกเต้นได้หัวใจของแม่สาวน้อยใบละ100ไม่รู้กี่ใบแทงเท่าไรไม่ถูกสักทีไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักอย่ารักไม่รักช่างห่วงคงถือว่าตัวงามนักนี้ไม่ต้องมายิ้มทำยั่วยวนหัวใจไม่ปวดหรอกคนดีก็ด้วยของฟรีเขามีเป็นตัน
Just the lyrics, it's the beat.
Retrospect, 60s garage punk, garage rock and psychedelia.
Clow. 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 See clow. ใครใครจะเอาเธอจะเอาเธอมาเอาเธอมันไม่ทำเองอยู่แค่นี้ยังหมดไม่สิโกรเธอจะจังไม่ใช่เจอรังไม่ใช่ไปหมกต้องสอบยิ่งตัวอังกฤษเจ้าเฮาเป็นใครสร้างมาจะเอาความเพียรเฮาใจหมดใจน้ำเราก็ได้ บทเทรนบทสแดมเพลงสต็อปจิกซิโครเติมซักไม่ใส่แต่เอาผ้าความรักเธอมันไม่ทำเป็นเย็นนี้ยังมาไทยจิกโลต้องซักจังใส่เชิญนั่งใส่ไปหมดต้องสอบดีตุยเอาไปเจ้าเฮาติดไปใส่มาเดี๋ยวเอาคำจะเท่าผู้ชายเมืองไทยคำเราก็ได้จิกโลมันใส่ไทย
You're with Phil Gray on Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show.
จนหมดถุงหนี้สินก็ยังนางนุ่งยุ่งใหญ่ลมเสียเรื่องดอกเบี้ยมันน้อยเมื่อไรลมเสียนี่ต้องไปเสียค่าเทอมใหม่ไม่รู้จะหาที่ไหนผัดไว้ปีหน้าก็ไม่ยอมหน่อยเมื่อเช้าก็เจ้าของบ้านชิดหน้าด้านมาทวงห้อมล้อมเจ้าถาดน้ำปลาเกิดพร้อมเข้ามาห้อมล้อมเกือบซ้อมกันใหญ่เลยลมเสียเอาผ้านุ่งเมียไปจำนำให้หน่อยก็ร้านไม่ยอมรับไว้บอกว่าขาดไปนิดหนึ่งดีอีกชุดหมายรีบรุดอย่าเอาไปตึงเกิดแขกเงินผ่อนมาถึงชุดดึงลากถึงเลยตึงไม่ได้เอาลงเสียปล่อยให้เมียรับหน้าไปใหม่โหแบบนี้จะมีอีกไหมพรุ่งนี้ทำไงรอเราลมเสียต้องหาเมียที่รวยกว่าเก่าลมเสียแต่เมียอย่างนี้มีที่ไหนเล่าโอ้ชีวิตยากจนอับเฉาคืนนี้แหละเราจะย้ายบ้านเอ่ย
selection of Asian garage on this TRANSGLOBAL TEARUP episode, starting off in Japan with The Savage covering Spencer Davis Group's Gimme Some Lovin'. Then from Thailand, off the Pebbles Volume 1 Thailand Part 1 Original Artifacts from the Psychedelic Era compilation, singer Srong Santi and the track Mairak Your Rak out of Thailand. Srong Santi, also spelled Surang Santi, Thai rock and roller who passed away in 1982. Music very slowly became discovered in the West. Great addition to this selection this week. Then we had a true legend of Cambodian rock music, Yol Olarong, also known as Yos Olarang, or written as Yos Olarang, a Cambodian garage rock musician, leading figure in the country's rock and roll scene of the 60s and early 70s, disappeared as so many did when the Khmer Rouge took over in Cambodia. He was from a family of notable Cambodian musicians. His music branched away from the fairly normal pop music of Cambodia at the time, focusing on self-expression and social comment. Very much had a persona as a bad boy, injecting sarcasm into his music, described as a charismatic proto-punk who mocked conformist society. Sadly, not surprising that he was disappeared. Yol Olarang, awesome track, and a favourite of mine called Siklo. And then finally, Thailand again, a guy called Payon Mugda, born 1926 in Ratchaburi, Thailand. He founded a number of bands, including PM7 and PM5. Can't find much more information about Payon Mugda, but it is a track off the Thai Beat A Go-Go Volume 1, Wild and Rockin' 60 Sounds from the Land of Smile compilation. The track Lumsia, a reinterpretation, of course, of Lucille.
A lot of different groups. Singapore, Japan. I have been disappointed with some others, like, Venezuela, Mexico.
Retrospect, 60s garage punk, garage rock and psychedelia.
We're back over to the European continent now, starting in Denmark with a band called Les Rivals, fronted by Peter Belly, who was born Georg Peter Brandt, a Danish vocalist and rock pioneer, introduced R&B music, very much influenced by the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, the Kinks, which is somewhat more challenging than the very much Cliff Richard and the Shadows inspired music that had flooded Denmark in those years. So Les Rivals very much promoted as the Danish equivalent of the Beatles. Les Rivals with Peter Belly with their version of Got Love If You Want It.
Love it, want it. God love me, want it. God love me, want it. You ask no about. I love the woman. I love the woman. With hang down. With hang down. You miss a yeah. She's all over town. I know this one thing. I know this one thing. God love me, want it. God love me, want it. Yeah, tell you all about it. Tell you all about it, yeah. Tell you all about it, baby, gonna tell me all about it. Take it, go, yeah. She's all the town. She's all the town, yeah. She's all the town, baby, go town. Yeah, come. over town, all over town, all over the town. Yeah, she's all over town. Yeah, she's all over town. Yeah.
Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Radio. Podcast via all good podcasting providers and facebook.com/Retrospect Garage Punk Radio.
That a moral decay is spreading through our country and our society. This same type of rot and decay caused 16 of the 19 major civilizations to vanish from the earth.
Jack the Ripper, well, there's a man who walks the streets of London late at night. Jack the Ripper, he's got a little black bag that's so tight. Jack the Ripper, he's got a big black cloak hanging down his back. Jack the Ripper, well, it's a one thing that I just need to fight. Jack the Ripper, well, yeah, he walks down the street. Every girl he meets, he says, "Is your name Blood?" Jack the Ripper. Well, when she walks down the street, he's never far behind. Jack the Ripper, with his little black bag and his one-track mind. Jack the Ripper. And then he nearly catches up, but when the lights go down, Jack the Ripper. 'Cause as the town is salty, dirty, shove around. Jack the Ripper. Well, yeah, he walks down the street. Every girl he meets, he says, "Is your name Blood?" Jack the Ripper, oh, well, can the devil never catch him? 'Cause he's much too clever. He's much too clever. But if they do, oh man, he'll get the leather, yeah. Jack the Ripper. Well, with the streets of London kind of never say Jack the Ripper. Whenever Jack the Ripper kind of shows his face, Jack the Ripper. Oh, so all your little girls take my advice, Jack the Ripper. And don't walk the streets of London late at night, Jack the Ripper. Well, yeah, he walks down the street. Every girl he meets, he says, "Is your name Blood?" Jack the Ripper.
Your community standards are far above this depraved material.
Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Radio Show and Podcast.
Well, I get up in the morning, watch the bird before my bed. The sunlight in my eyes, skittles right from my head. I work like a dog in my job every day. I gonna get some money so I can go and pay. In the night time, that's the right time. In the night time, that's the right time. I wanna be with you in the night time. Okay. When I get home from work, I know I'm tired in my feet. Trying to make supper that I could even eat. I just finished short, wash the dirt from my back. I'm gonna teach you, baby, that's a natural fact. In the night time, that's the right time. Okay. In the night time, That's the right time. I wanna be with you in the night time. Okay. Come on, baby, now. A little bit closer. You can take your run your out. You can hear what I'm saying, you know. Honey, no, you got me burning. I tell you. Come on. With 100 million people with nothing to say. Round and round in circle, they just living for the day. But stick with me, baby. I show you how to fly. Mix the pretty music, watch the world by in the night time. That's the right time. In the night time. Okay. That's the right time. Okay. I wanna be with you in the night time. Okay. That's what I want.
We started that set with Les Rivals, Got Love If You Want It. Then the Rollers out of Switzerland, off the Trans World Punk Volume 1, 18 frantic European beat R&B punk ravers compilation. The Rollers with Jack the Ripper. And finally, out of Sweden, a band called Sooner or Later, recorded for Fontana, released August 1966, their cover of The Strangelove's Nighttime. Well, that brings us to the end of this Trans-Global Tear-Up episode of Retrospect. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget those back episodes. There are hundreds of episodes available still on all good podcasting platforms. Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search for Retrospect Garage Punk. Remember to follow me on the socials, Instagram and Facebook, and you can leave feedback and get in touch via those channels. Heading out with a band out of Argentina, formed in Rosario, 1963. One of the first bands in Argentina to compose rock music in Spanish. Their debut LP 1965 called Los Gatos Salvajes. This is Ruta a Go-Go from Los Gatos Salvajes, and I'm Phil Gray for Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show.
with Retrospect. Retrospect Garage Punk Radio on Facebook and Retrospect 60s Garage Punk on Instagram. And for back episodes, find Retrospect 60s Garage Punk Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and lots more great podcasting platforms.
Am I supposed to be a big fan?